The flip in sentiment and the flip on the fear and greed index and people going bullish to bearish in such a short time period over the last 7 days is one of the most intense that we have seen during the duration of this bull market. So in this video, I'm going to go over all of the trends and what I see in the market as to why you should not be fearful and why this could be presenting one of the best opportunities so far to have great entries and giving you one of those final pullbacks before we hit September and October and head into the very top of this bull market. So without further ado, let's jump into it. We will make today's video quick, concise, and actionable, but before we get started, be sure to drop down below if you're enjoying the content on the channel, like the video, and subscribe. It helps us get this content in front of crypto bulls just like yourself who are looking to win throughout this bull market. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have Nexus Labs, Blowfin, as well as our newest sponsor, the derivatives perps exchange from CoinW, which is 𝗔𝗫𝗏. And right now, their mainnet is live, lower cost and better than Hyperliquid, trade to earn points. And the most important thing here, I think, for the users on this channel is potentially a token airdrop. So as you can see here on their website, you can see the different amount of points you can be earning, your token rewards, as well as the types of benefits you get from different trades, referral programs, whatever the case is. And they have so many different markets for you to start trading on their application right now. So if you missed the Hyperliquid airdrop, this is a perfect opportunity from an amazing platform. I mean, CoinW's centralized exchange is literally one of the best in the industry. So their perps exchange, I think, is something you don't want to miss out on this potential airdrop. So there's a link down below in the description. I believe it comes with a little bit of bonuses for your account, and most importantly, to start qualifying for the upcoming token airdrop. So check out 𝗔𝗫𝗏 down below. Now let's jump into the markets. Honestly, the markets today, a little bit green on most of the dailies, and altcoins, just like I said on yesterday's show, they're actually holding up quite nicely, considering that the fact that the market's pretty much in turmoil. Everyone's looking forward to this Jackson Hole thing, and the wording that they give us, whether rate cuts sound likely or not, a lot of that verbiage is going to factor into the market. So I think Friday's a really important day for short-term market volatility. But as we showed yesterday, the trends are showing us that late September and early October should be the time period where this market really kicks up. And if you believe that Ethereum still has legs in it, if you believe that Bitcoin's going to 130, 140 this cycle, there's no reason for you to be giving into the fear on this timeline. So we see future millionaires are buying the dip. And as the House of Crypto says here, is the bull market really finished or at the rock bottom sentiment? Or right now there is rock bottom sentiment, and we'll show you those numbers in just a second. But BlackRock, other institutions, plus Donald Trump are still buying. The answer is no. Accumulate quality projects that generate revenue, demonstrate real uses, and pray they go as low as possible during these time periods. Everyone freaks out, thinks that it's over. They have to pull out their money on these little dips, when in reality, dips are opportunity. Whether you can average in, size down, rearrange your positions, whatever the case is, these are always opportunities to take advantage of, and we are potentially weeks away from altcoins running 10, 20x's on certain altcoins. So this is definitely not the time to capitulate. Some of the biggest banks and managers in the world saying, Morgan Stanley's CIO, this bull market is just beginning. We also see here Goldman Sachs says the potential for market for stable coins in crypto is in the trillions of dollars. Now, we've been giving you guys one of my favorite stable coin plays in the space, which is Blockstreet. I think that's a great opportunity as well to also factor into what House of Crypto said, the fact that Trump's administration is still buying and heavily involved. World Liberty Fi's stablecoin USD1, one of the only pairs in the market right now, is Blockstreet. So you guys know I'm very bullish on that position. But the one thing we're seeing right now that I think is spooking a lot of people, especially when it comes to Ethereum, is ETH spot ETFs seeing a $430 million outflow yesterday on August 19th, which is the second highest in history. Now, you could say this is people taking profits. You could say a lot of different things. Now, most of this should be in profit over the course of the last few months, as long as they bought it at the right time. But what I'm really seeing here is if we see the historical value right now in the fear and greed index, we are at fear. And we're not at extreme fear, but we are definitely nearing the bottom of the spectrum here on the fear and greed index. But look at last week, this middle tab right here. Last week, the greed was at 73. So the fear and greed index has dropped 30 points over the course of 7 days, when in reality, not much has changed. You know, we still have potential for rate cuts next month. And then historically, October is the best month of every single bull market in crypto's history. Only 2 red Octobers over the course of the last 10 years. And the fear and greed index dropping that much into the fear zone over 7 days, when we just hit all-time highs last week, this tells me that sellers and people who capitulate during this dip are likely to get cooked whenever the market does turn back up come September and October. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in the market. My overall altcoin picks have not changed. So if you watch this channel on a daily basis, you guys know the certain altcoins that I'm really hyped on and really stacking at this point in time. We'll roll through a few of those, but I'll really go over my number one buy as of today, given some of the narratives that I think could unfold over the coming months, and especially into the peak of what we could see in October. So just looking at the market right now on the daily timeline, we only see a few projects in the green. We see GPU up 10%, Kaido up 10%, Chainlink continues its season. And it is kind of, we're starting to see that where seasons are happening, right? We saw XRP have a run. We've seen stuff underneath Solana have a run. Solana itself hasn't had its run. We're seeing Chainlink's ecosystem go on a massive run right now. And I think we're going to start seeing this rotation, especially in September and October and likely early November. So just looking at the market right now, there's a few things that I'm looking at. Number one is 𝗬𝗎, and 𝗬𝗎 gets the almighty Robinhood listing. Now, Robinhood is basically the retail app. It is a little bit harder to onboard these days because of the KYC and the amount of things they want from you, etc. It's a stock app more than it is a crypto app. So you can likely sign up for an exchange and get your hands on 𝗬𝗎 much easier if you're in the crypto game. But all the coins that are listed on Robinhood, I believe will have major runs over the course of the cycle because A, it's very accessible, and B, just the amount of people from the GameStop era, AMC, from the 2020, 2021 range during the pandemic. I see a lot of those people still using Robinhood. I get a lot of text message from my normie friends all the time. Hey, here's what I can invest in. And they're showing me Robinhood screenshots. So to me, this is huge. We all know the amount of users that they bring in. And also I'm bullish on Robinhood stock and the amount of revenue that they bring in, etc. And just being listed on Robinhood for 𝗬𝗎, I think is going to be massive. We look at this all chart. I think all-time highs are going to get absolutely smashed on the next leg up. And then from there, we're in price discovery. So to me, 𝗬𝗎 has to be one of the absolute number one buys in the entire market at this point in time. And if you're wondering like who is using 𝗬𝗎, I think you need to dig a little deeper into the data. And just looking at the on-chain on 𝗬𝗎, we see the TVL has been nothing but up ever since this range here in May 2023, literally just on a climb. Now, this time period after the Trump launch was a given. Everything went down in the market. People got very fearful heading into that summer after the inauguration. But for the most part, this has been an up-only chart. And on top of that, we do see the stable coins growing exponentially on the chain. We see 𝗬𝗎 Lend doing $700 million in TVL, which is their biggest platform. And also the funding and interest in 𝗬𝗎 projects is raising. We see Overtake, which is basically a gaming asset marketplace. They raised $7 million in funding from 𝗬𝗎, Item Bay, JB Investments, etc. So there's a lot of interest in the 𝗬𝗎 chain, whether or not you've onboarded or not. It's one of the fastest growing blockchains in all of crypto. And I do think that this run, I think $10 is programmed very easily for 𝗬𝗎. And that's a downside target. Like I think if it only hit 10, I think that would be decently disappointing for a major protocol like 𝗬𝗎. Number two is Hyperliquid. You guys know I'm a massive Hyperliquid bull. I think that there's no better exposure play to be able to own, number one, an exchange. Number two, one of the best perps exchanges in the entire space. Number three, a project that, like what House of Crypto posted on Twitter, does revenue and then also buys back their token every single day. That narrative to me just makes so much sense. And another platform where their TVL is growing hand over fist almost a $500 million a day, like at some points in time. We just see this chart going nothing but up. A lot of this has to do with Project X. We gave this one to you guys on day one, and I think the token airdrop for Project X is going to be very, very nice. On top of that, it operates on Hyper EVM, and this could potentially qualify you for a round 2 of a Hyperliquid airdrop. So you can earn yield on your hype. You can literally pair up different forms of hype together and just earn free money on your Hyperliquid token. So they just passed $100 million in TVL. So they're accounting for about 4 to 5% of the entire TVL on the chain. So that's a massive, massive chunk. And I do love Hyperliquid at these levels in the low 42s. Targets for me to $75 to $100 over the course of this cycle. Obviously, you guys know I love AVAX. Over the last 2 days, they've added a major Scotch brand doing a tokenized deal. They onboarded $300 million RWA/hedge fund, which is absolutely insane. And then on top of that, we see the Toyota blockchain lab is building their vehicle finance program on Avalanche. So they're getting some of the most mainstream adoption. I saw a tweet yesterday on Twitter about how this is kind of like HBAR at this point. HBAR has a very cult community, just like the AVAX community does, but at the same time, the amount of institutional interest and business interest, real world interest that comes into AVAX, I think eventually this is going to springboard in price. So I'm very, very bullish on what's happening over at Avalanche. And then moving a little bit into gaming tokens. Now, I'm not going to cover every coin. You guys still know I love 𝗬𝗎, 𝗏, 𝗏𝗄, those types of projects. My lower cap AI coins like Neural AI, GPU, Talbot, etc. Those plays still stand. The high level gaming protocols, etc. But looking down the ladder as to what could be a little more explosive when this market does turn around, my eyes maintain on 𝗥𝗡𝗏, one of the very few gaming coins over the last year that has been up over the course of that time. Like they launched at 5 cents, it's sitting at 10 cents, all-time highs of 40 cents, and their price is holding so steady in this market. If we just scroll down here, find 𝗥𝗡𝗏, up 2% on the day, up 5% on the month, in a month where things have not been that great for altcoins. So this is a strength point for me sitting at 10 cents. I think all-time highs are extremely realistic for a coin like 𝗥𝗡𝗏. So major upside around the corner for a token like 𝗥𝗡𝗏. But right now, I think one of the biggest opportunities, especially on this dip, and given what this token has done during the course of bullish time periods in the market, I think it's one that you have to be looking at building a small or, whether it's a small buy or a leverage position in over the course of the coming weeks is Pengu. Now, seems obvious. And when you look at the chart here, we haven't eclipsed those all-time high levels. We hit those all-time high levels and rejected off of them. So we have not seen price discovery when it comes to Pengu. Sitting at 3 cents at this point in time, we saw how much the market flocks to this token when the market gets frothy. And at this 3 cent level, about 30% down from all-time highs, I think this is a definite buy. First of all, Abstract August / Abstract, Q4 is definitely loading up. I do think that Abstract will be one of the hottest protocols to finish out this year, and especially leading into the Abstract TGE. Now, there's a lot of theories out there. Obviously, Abstract XP is going to factor into it. If you hold Pengu on Abstract Chain, you earn Abstract XP. But also, we know that pudgy penguins are going to get an airdrop just for holding pudgies. But what if you get an airdrop potentially prorated based off the Pengu amount that you hold on Abstract? So that to me could factor in a ton of speculation for people and a lot of demand on this token. And I definitely think if we surpass that 4.4 level, so 4.5 cents, I think this could literally go to the stratosphere whenever it comes to that price discovery level. So Pengu right now, probably my #1 overall speculative upside play, because we just haven't broken through those levels. And on this dip, a 30% retrace from those levels, I'm loving Pengu given the attention that's on Abstract. And we're seeing here Jonah Blake, a good friend of mine, saying that he works with a publisher that does Nintendo Switch games. If they got a game on the Nintendo Switch, they also have major mobile games coming with Pudgy Party. They have Pengu Clash. So this to me just screams upside, especially once we get more details on the Abstract airdrop. airdrop. So those are the main tokens that I'm looking at this point in time. And I mentioned the one earlier, which is Blockstreet. Blockstreet sitting at about 15 cents or 14 cents as of today. I think that has tons of upside in the market currently. And then last but not least, you guys know I love looking for opportunities and fun things to do in the market. Whether it be play to earn games, you can do one on Abstract right now, Cambria. They have a $1.5 million prize pool, and you can earn Abstract XP. There's Chrono Forge coming out in a couple weeks on Abstract. And then as far as like sports, if you're a sports fan and maybe you liked SoRare back in the day, I think football.fun could scratch your itch. It's basically fantasy soccer on chain, but the players are stocks in a way, if you term it that way. So all of these gold are $1. So some of these players are 4 cents, some of these players are 50 cents, 37 cents, etc. But you can buy X amount of shares of these players. And as you can see, most of these players have been going up in value. I do think there's a lot of opportunity here because there's only about 60 players right now listed on the platform. You know how many clubs there are in European football. So to me, there's so many more opportunities for big name players on big teams to be listed on this app. I think the upside here could be pretty solid, but definitely don't use capital here that you're not willing to play around with and lose. It's definitely a fun thing. There's tournaments every week. If you win those tournaments or get certain points, you can open up packs. And really, you're looking to trade the speculative nature of these players. This has been heating up quite a bit. They don't have a native token, so if they eventually do have a native token, maybe you could get an airdrop as well by just participating in the platform. So that's what I'm looking at in the market as of today. Tried to keep it under 15 minutes. I know we're at 16 right now, but that's the nature of the game and that's the nature of the market. All in all, I'm still very bullish. I think that this downtrend is actually a really good opportunity to take advantage of and capitalize to end the year during this crypto bull market. So if you enjoy the content, if you're bullish on any of the tokens that we mentioned in this video, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more. And I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. As always, play well, my friends. Stay bullish and trade responsibly.